It's a tough gig when you know that everyone's going to be criticizing every part of your body, and he worked really hard. I didn't work so hard in that regard because I didn't have to be naked. That's the nice thing about being a producer. You can tell people when to be naked and choose not to be naked.
When you're on set, right, you're filming this,
Yeah.
can you feel like it's going to be such a fun movie as you're filming it? Like what I saw, I was like, this is what we need right now. Just beautiful.
We didn't know it was what everyone needed right now because I picked it before the pandemic started. We shot it during the pandemic, yes. On this one, I knew we were having a great time while filming it. That doesn't always equate a good film. I've had great time on films before, and they were a disaster. So we were really ambitious when filming this. We needed another 12 to 15 days, and we didn't get it because, as we were told, there's no comp for this, so our budget was not, So we were just hustling every day, climbing to waterfalls, hiking up, But we had a great time, and it didn't really matter to us at the time whether we were making a great film or not. I think we were just happy to be around other human beings since we've been locked in a house like everybody else.
I think what people are going to be, looking at is that you've a double act. Like yourself and Channing are great. Like, how did that bond work? Like, did you have to go out beforehand to get to know each other,
we
or was it
didn't.
just on
We
day
didn't.
one?
We'd met at preschool. Our daughters went to preschool together. I think we realized but we didn't have that next level personal interaction until we started rehearsing the dance sequence, and it was masked and in his choreographer's garage, and it was a little awkward and like, hi, how are you? And we realized on day 3 that we both had the same inappropriate, stupid sense of humor, and only he heard what I was saying under the mask, and he was like, oh, I was like, oh, really? Oh, and we realized at that point we had each other's back in that regard, and there was just a lot of physical trust. He's a physical comic. I love physical comedy. It just fortunately happened. It wasn't like we'd practiced and found a rhythm. It just was. And we got so lucky because of it. It was just one of those things, can't explain it. It just was.
Now, it was a tough gig for you. And for me, I was eating popcorn, and all of a sudden, Channing Tatum is basically naked on the screen.
Yeah.
That's a tough gig to have. That's a tough gig.
It's a tough gig when you know that everyone's going to be criticizing every part of your body, and he worked really hard. I didn't work so hard in that regard because I didn't have to be naked. That's the nice thing about being a producer. You can tell people when to be naked and choose not to be naked. So, no, but he's so game. He works so hard. He works so incredibly hard for the joke because it wouldn't have worked. I mean, I'm sure it would have worked another way, but I prefer picking leeches off a ripe peach, such as Channing's, rather than one that just kind of, you're putting some pressure on it and then it collapses on itself. So I think what he gave us was the appropriate amount of, whatever you call that.
Was the water cold?
Medium. The cold wasn't the thing to worry about. It was the level of feces, apparently, that they had to test for. They were like, well, we've done the feces test. I said, I'm sorry, what? They go, we suggest you not go under. And I went, oh, okay, I got this. And the minute I got in, I didn't realize there was a ledge. Who went under? I went under. And I was like, great. I have feces in my eyes and my ears now, in my mouth. But it was so hot there that anything cold was refreshing.
It's such a stellar cast. When the cameras stop rolling, do you guys ever go like fangirl over each other? But fangirl's probably the wrong word. But go, oh, you're in this movie, or you're in that movie, or is it just you're working all the time?
You know what? It's we were in such a state of navigation. Our hardest weeks were the first 3 weeks, and because we had to shoot Brad out. We had monsoon rains. I was in a constant state of production panic because if we didn't get all of Brad's stuff, we weren't getting him back. What do we do? How do we navigate? If we need a double, let's shoot all his stuff from the front and not shoot from the, it was just constant navigation. I think now that we are at this stage of promoting the film and everyone keeps bringing up how much they like the cast, you now get to sit back and enjoy because we finished it. And we just finished it 3.5, 4 weeks ago. I still have some things that I need to record. So it's like, I've been in a state of panic for a couple of years now, and now I get to just sit back and enjoy it.
The final question is your pink jumpsuit. Like,
Yes.
do you think the sales are going to rise?
I
Did
sure
you
hope
take one
so.
home?
Because I bought stock in all sequence that had that hue, and I think no, I it just makes me happy that costumes are sort of making a comeback. Everything's been very naturalistic, but now we have good costumes. I hope you know what I hope for? That it becomes a Halloween costume this year. That this year you see in department stores little cheap knockoffs of that pink sequin jumpsuit. That would make me so incredibly happy. So if we could push for that, that would like tick a major bucket list box for me.
In Ireland, it's going to happen.
I hope
Sandra,
so.
it was a lovely movie. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm
Thanks
so
so
glad.
much.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.